Assalamualaikum and very good day. My name is Zainul bin Daud and today I want to discuss about a topic called Learn Together, Succeed Together. Diversity in education, of course it matters. Why? Well, because in the current generation, which is the 21st century, where people have been living in harmony for almost decades or even centuries old. There are people with different cultures, with people with other religions, ethnicities. People have become a family and friends for decades and or centuries old. But there are some costs and risk into it. There are certain people that does not prefer to be with other cultures or even other ethnicities. This makes them a very uncomfortable, and it could cause a breach in harmony in any country around the world. This is also one of the reasons why there are racism or many civil unrest around the world. As Martin Luther King Jr. once said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So, what happened? What makes them into that? And why they are thinking like that? Well, this has becoming a very core of themselves, which is from where they were raised or where they were born, where they were educated when they were kids or children. So, this is what we're discussing today, which is diversity in education. So let's look into it. Why it is important, why racial diversity is very important or critical in education. Well, you know, as the world evolved, there are people have been living together. The technologies has been evolved for over centuries, decades, and the inclusion of multicultural students have been important in any countries around the world. As you can see, there are many students that have been studying around the world, have been going to other countries to study, and that includes people from other races and other religions. And why it is important in classroom? Well, because in the classroom, in the class alone, when if we teach our kids, our children, that diversity is important in education, it will be implemented into them, and they will be exposed to the different kinds of people in terms of background or ethnicities or even religions. Students will be a part of moving society in their lives, and it is important to have inclusion of all races in any classroom around the world, so it can give them very wide view of studies and a lot of benefits for all students and education in the future. As you can see from this mind map I have created, why it is important, because it will prepare students for adulthood. Well, according to the American Council on Education, they stated that a diverse education will prepare students to be decent citizens in this huge moving society. Although cooperation will also play a huge part in their academic skills and social interaction. Well, with this consistency in exposure, it will be easier for young children to go through adulthood, to be used in a multicultural society when they are working or even in a public environment. It will be easier for them to communicate with other cultures and religions. Why the first topic is called preparing students for adulthood, because how can we do about it? Well, the first part that we can do is that we should improve our our learning environment by including all kinds of race in classroom or schools in or universities. We can start by doing inclusion of other races ever since kindergarten, because when we encourage children to be part of uh, when we encourage children to be part of other races or diverse in a diverse environment, it will assist in the exposure of multicultural society. The point number two, which is diminishes stereotypes among students. Well, this is a very critical part of multicultural community, because when we have exposed students in a multicultural community or classroom, it may it may provide them better teamwork, right? And it also eliminate stereotypes or about religions or colors, because this is what the main core of racism that is happening today in these modern days. But when we have implemented multicultural community in the school or universities, it will it will have a natural implementation or a natural cooperation or teamwork for students to be with other races in the classroom, and it will immediately and diminishes the bias or stereotypical views of other races amongst them. As we're continuing, how we can do this? Well, to start with, we should teach children to collaborate with other races since kindergarten, to be part of the same group with other with kids with other religions or cultures or ethnicities. If we starting from kindergarten, it is easier for younger children to develop uh, a very natural mindset that it is very important to be respectful other to all other ethnicities or cultures or religions, while at the same time creating a good teamwork amongst all students in the classroom. Moving on to point number 3, which is improves communication and widens creativity. Well, what makes a good team? A good team is when a team consists of great variety of ideas and also a great communication. With these two with these two qualities combined, it will make a great or even exponentially great team. Well, in this case, it is very important to even include other multiple races in the study group or even classroom, because it will create a positive atmosphere, and it does not also provide a better teamwork, but it will help them in education or in academic for years to come. A diverse student will also assist in many problem solving in various critical thinking when it comes to big group projects. How do we do this? By simply inviting different races from into study group. Well, in during classroom, we should try at least include some of our other friends from other cultures or ethnicities. This is a great deal to include multiple races or being exposed in multicultural community. By doing that in kindergarten or schools or university, it is a great start for students. As you can see in this graph that I found, which is by Shinchua Chen Brazil from Montana State University, it is important to have different different aspect of learning environment with the or diverse learning environment, which improves their creativity or their work quality in terms of learning experience. Well, in conclusion, it is very important to include diversity in schools, starting from schools, kindergartens, or university, because it will create a very peaceful harmony for not only in education or academically, but also when the children have becoming an adult in multicultural workspace or work environment. So in that sense, it is very important to have the inclusion of multiple races in education. My name is Zainul Arifin Bindaud, and thank you for listening.